Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and through an accidental scheduling of a live stream tonight, I decided to roll with it instead of changing the scheduled time. Because I was actually about to head down to the basement when Gutbomb sent me a message asking, "Are you really streaming tonight?" So, looks like I am! So, therefore, I'll just do one stream when I was going to come down to the basement and do off stream, which will include looking for a 1 microfarad capacitor, potentially. So that'll be fun. Let's see who else we have in the chat. We got Thomas Armstrong. Yeep. Hi, Thomas. We got Jack68K. Hi, Jack. We have Stian. Hi, Stian. We have Francois. Hi, Francois. We have Geoham. Hi, Geoham. I know you'll just have to set your schedule by my Thursday stream, which I still, at the moment, am planning to have. I'll just have to pick a new topic. Alright, we've got, Mega! Hi, Mega! And we have Newer Ham Radio Elmer! Yeah, we got the dinosaur. I remember to inflate it before I streamed. Alright, don't forget, I do have the, same old coffee goal, even though today is July 1st, so you can check that link out in the video description. I do have things to open, however, there is a bit of a mess on my bench. Ah, yes. Computer is still on my bench exactly as I left it last night. So let's see here. To recap, we opened a motherboard that I spent way too much time on Wheel of Regrets trying to get it to work. I haven't heard back from the seller, so it was sold as is. I highly suspect the seller's just going to ignore me, and they're within their right. So, I'm kind of leaning towards keeping the board and trying to recap it, because I only spent $40 on it. I'll just have to order caps. We then were able to successfully read out the microcontroller on this keyboard, or so I think. One of the things I would like to try is to actually get the binary file on my streaming computer and run a disassembler on it to see if it looks like an intact program for a microcontroller. And I don't know what it should look like. I don't have the original code, but I'm hoping that maybe it might look like I have the whole thing when it's disassembled, and not like a bunch of garbage instructions. Jack says, recap law, $40 plus $80 worth of caps. Yeah, you're probably right. GeoHams, 3 streams in 1 week and a holiday that will throw everything off even more. Yeah, exactly. The NEC microcontrollers didn't fix the problem. I have them sitting here. Notice the gaff tape protecting the one window and the others protecting the other, and they were actually setting upside down. I did contact the seller of the microcontrollers because I can't program these, and their initial response was, "Are you sure your programmer supports 21 volts?" So I did, when we get to it, I did bring down a different power adapter. It's a 12-volt power adapter instead of a 9-volt power adapter I was using last night, and maybe we'll even see if I can't measure the programming voltage to make sure it is 21 volts. Well, at least it's not 1.21 gigawatts, or I'd have had to have done it during the lightning storm earlier this evening. Yep, 21 volts. That's what the Intel chip says. Actually, that is, don't take the datasheet's word for it. That is what is etched on the chip. 21 volt program. Thomas Armstrong says 21 is the goal. Yes. And, well, anyways, we left off not knowing what's wrong with the computer. Anyways, so as you can see, I have not moved anything on my bench. In fact, I have it on good authority that you could probably go to the end of my live stream last night when I had the table view in view, and I'm pretty sure that the contact cleaner probably had fallen over on its side. Or, well, maybe that happened today, but anyways, I haven't touched it. Jax says, not 20 volts, not 24 volts, 21 volts. Oh, you forgot 25 volts. That's the next usual step up in programming voltages. And yeah, it seems weird. It seems wild that for a chip that, when you read it, is a 5-volt logic level, that you program it at 21 volts! Dramatic effect intended. Anyways, let's try a few things, because I'm stumped, I'm puzzled, and there were a few things that were suggested last night, and in no particular order. Oh, spoiler alert, I did actually try 25 volts last night. I didn't really mention it. So one of those Intel chips I may have actually, like, destroyed. But I only did that to one of them. Thomas Armstrong says, some of the old EPROMs were crazy high volts. Yeah. Jack says, just connect it to mains voltage. Yeah, seriously. Alright, so the first thing we are going to do, because someone asked, and I aim to please, and I don't know of any reason why this can't be done, we are going to plug an Apple II Plus keyboard into computer. As far as I know, this keyboard works. It works the last time I used it, so that has to account for something. And we're going to see what computer does. And in case I do something really stupid with the keyboard, I'll leave it on table cam in case the magic smoke comes out, because I'm shorting something I don't realize. But anyways, 3, 2, 1. Huh. Okay. Oh, wow. I think it's repeating on its own. 10. Whoa! Well, that's some wild new behavior. So, with the Apple II Plus keyboard... Oh, that's what the beeping is. That's it filling the buffer, probably. Yeah, auto-repeat. That's good. Well, I don't think that's good because I'm not pressing the repeat key. Oh, it's like repeating every character. Okay, so... Francois says, and there was a 2. Fry. Okay, so the Apple II Plus keyboard, which, as far as I know, is working. It just... I replaced it because it had a broken key stem, and I heard that replacing the switches on these RFI keyboards is kind of painful. So I just replaced the whole keyboard, because the 3 key is a difficult key to find. Gutbomb's asking, what did you miss? Well, I just plugged in an Apple II Plus keyboard into computer and hit the return key, and it started repeating the return key. And this was after I thought it was fine, because it didn't start repeating keys on power up. So, yeah, Thomas Armstrong says motherboard. Yeah, that would kind of seem to indicate that the problem is on the motherboard. So I guess that is good. That means I don't have to find the 1 microfarad cap to replace on the keyboard. So Jack says, time to replace the repeat chip. Actually, Jack, I think the repeat function is part of the keyboard. Now, what that tells me is that the motherboard is latching a key press when there is none. And Jack says, I'm joking. Yeah. So I guess let's go back to the Apple II Plus 2E troubleshooting and repair guide. Although I don't know how valid it... I mean, maybe an Apple II Plus keyboard actually doesn't work with these clones. You know, that would be useful. Unfortunately, I don't have an easy to manage Apple II Plus board. I do know there are a few differences between these clones and an actual Apple II Plus. This is now the time where I kind of wish I knew what the differences were. All right, let me go in this guide and let me see, because I know there is a section on unintended repeat, and I'm actually tempted to maybe go grab my other clone motherboard, the one that I think this keyboard works on, and maybe borrow a few chips from it to see if it fixes the problem, because otherwise I'm going to have to... Well, now here's interesting. Okay, so there is a symptom, repeat key won't work. I'm on page 104 of the Sam's Publishing Apple II Plus 2E Troubleshooting and Repair Guide. Repeat key won't work, which isn't our problem, but I do find it interesting that the 555 timer at B3 could be the cause, and that was the 555 timer that had a rust spot on its leg. Although I think I moved that 555 timer to A13. Yeah, I moved it to A13. Oh, wait a minute. Well, we do have a slightly bent leg. But I don't think it's bent enough that it's going to cause it to not go in the socket. Yeah, okay. I think that was a false alarm. It wasn't bent in a way where it wouldn't have been able to make contact with the socket. I will take it under advisement. If I can find the 555 timers at some point tonight, I think they're in one of the boxes of chips that I have, then I will see if I can't. I'll find a 555 and swap it. All right, so I keep coming back to one chip. Thomas Armstrong says 555 is an op amp. I thought a 555 was a timer chip. Oh, hi, Mr. Tech Gadget. Welcome. And we got Joseph Norris. Hi, Joseph. Seeing this board reminds me of when I installed a 68030 upgrade kit into my former Amiga 500. I also had a switch and board so I could switch between Kickstart ROMs. Good night, Francois. Jesse says, could I repeat that? Oh, Thomas Armstrong's asking, where's the code on the character ROM? I don't think the character ROM is to blame, because the characters are appearing on screen correctly. And there's the character ROM right there. I have not seen any evidence that characters are appearing wrong. Now, could there be a chip that reads out the ROM that's not working? Maybe. But I don't think the character ROM is to blame. Because all it is the bitmaps of the characters. Oh, Thomas says it, it always is used as a timer. Okay. Thomas says 555 has a cap and a resistor paired with it. I presume it is, and I have no reason to believe that the cap and resistor are bad. Of course, the thing is, we don't have we have different problems with different keyboards, so I mean, I guess I could double check the resistance of the resistors, but I'll have to look at the schematic to try to figure out, because there is a, with this 555 timer here that you can't see because I gotta zoom out again. With this one here, I think this controls reset. There's actually a transistor here and a couple resistors and capacitor, and one of these resistors is for the transistor. Yeah, and there's a capacitor and a resistor with this one. I don't think the values are particularly important, but they could be. Jack says, I think I figured out what's wrong with this board. It's haunted. Well, actually, there's a chip I keep coming back to, and Joe was kind of agreeing that it could be the problem. So there's this 74 LS74 here. I have tested it, and it tests fine. But I'm wondering if it's actually bad. So I'm going to completely remove the chip. I'm going to put Computerized Keyboard back in. I'm actually not sure the keyboard's going to work at all with the chip removed, but I guess if I power it up and we get a repeat, then maybe it's not this chip. Okay, that was weird. We had nothing on the screen at all. That chip may be doing more than one thing. All right, I'm going to go grab my other clone board. We're not going to swap all the chips from it because I don't want to. No, Thomas, it's a Motorola chip. And it's a chip from '89, so it's actually not the original chip. Oh, well, it's not marked with its where it was made. Oh. Oh, no, actually I think it is stamped Philippines. So I guess it was imported. Just in '89, not '79. All right, I'm going to grab the other clone board. I guess we'll borrow some chips off of it. Temporarily, I am not taking all the logic chips off of it to put on computer because I would like to have one working clone board, not 0 working clone boards. I'm not convinced that I don't have to steal one from the clone board. I've got the Parts Apple II Plus board. It has it's 74 LS74s still there, so I'm going to borrow it. And if it fixes the problem, I'll keep it. Now, for anyone wondering why I have a parts Apple II Plus board, it's because 3 of the expansion slots have pins that are shorted together. And in trying to remove one of them to investigate how hard it would be to replace, well, I lifted like a whole bunch of traces, so it's a parts board. Alright, let's see what it does with the new 74LS74, or, well, a used 74LS74. 3, 2, 1. No way. Jesse says, way. Hi, Socket Wrench. Socket Wrench says, hello, computer. That, let's power cycle. No, how? This 74LS74. 74LS74. Must be bad. Sorcerer Stan says, so it was just a bad chip that tested good. Apparently so. In fact, it's tested good in multiple chip testers. Sorcerer Stan says, LS74 has caused me a lot of troubles and tests can be flaky. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It was a bad chip. Thomas Armstrong says, chip testers don't put load on them. Well, I knew that. Sakura says, how? Spite. Jack says, the lesson here is always listen to Joe. Well, actually, if you'll remember, Jack, Joe helped us when we looked at it on the oscilloscope. The oscilloscope made it look like the signal line was floating. And we thought the problem was the microcontroller. I think it actually fooled Joe. If we go back and watch the live stream, I think Joe and I got fooled. Because the chip tested fine, but it looked like it was floating, so we thought it was the microcontroller on the keyboard. Because I plugged the keyboard into another motherboard, and it worked. Wait a minute, did we on that stream? Or did we have problems on the other motherboard? Sorcerer Stan says, I think they're very timing sensitive. Testers don't catch that. Probably. Thomas Armstrong says, try the clone 8048. Well, actually, Thomas, we have the original 8048 in place. Alan says, yep, 74s and 161s. Mega's asking, I wonder if that part was replaced before. I don't know. Oh, it probably was. Given the fact it's got an 89 date code on it, I think I've replaced it before, and apparently I replaced it with a bad part. Well, at least I went to the one that was on the parts Apple II Plus board. So yeah, now we're yeah, don't get me started on those old Hitachi parts. All right, so computer is seemingly working. All right. Okay, there is one thing I would like to do. Mega's asking, will the board kill another? I hope not. It is a risk I'm going to have to take. All right, so hey, thank you, Sorcerer Stan. Eep. All right. Who volunteers to rewatch all the old computer streams to figure out if that chip was replaced before? Jack, I think we might have a quicker way of doing it. You know it's bad when I have a dedicated bad chip bag for a single project. So this is the bag. It contains all of the bad chips that I've had to replace on computer. All these chips. And some of them, I'm pretty sure I had to replace the replacement. So I am... to commemorate the fact that I think I now have fixed it. All right, so there's the 74 LS74 I replaced tonight. So it goes in the bag. So that's one. Someone, please count the chips for me. All right. 74 LS 367. There's two. 74 LS. I can't read it. Oh, yeah, it's one of those Hitachi chips. Is that 139? Yep, 74 LS 139. So there's three. $174. That's four. Jack's asking what happened to poor computer. Some of these, the writing's so bad on them. I'm looking at these under the microscope. 166 and a 138. So that's 5 and 6, I believe. I'm hoping someone's counting because I'm gonna lose count for sure. A 175. I'm gonna stop counting. I'll just name off the numbers. A mystery chip. The writing is illegible. A 245. A 194. A 4116. DRAM. A 161. I think it's an 08. Oh, another DRAM. Another illegible chip. A 174. A 151. A 138. Another illegible chip. Another DRAM. I think it's oh, there we go. It is. I found a 74, so it was a Hitachi chip. So I have a feeling I've replaced that one before. A 283. A 00. Which I'm thinking, I don't know why. It looks like I had. Let's see here. I think that's another illegible chip. A 138. A 257. Another 138. Another DRAM. Another illegible chip. A 32. Oh, hi, hardware hacker. We'll get to that in a moment. An O2. Another DRAM. I'm wondering if someone's just counting DRAMs that went bad. A 257. A 555. Another 555. So actually I've replaced both 555 timers. Oh, so that one that was rusted must have come from a parts board. Okay. An 04. An 02. We're going get to that one last. I think this one's a 20. Another 74. So I've replaced at least two 74s on this board. A 153. Another 00. A 251. A 138. A 195. A 161. A 153. A 367. Oh, yep, that's what that says. A 259. A 151. Oh, no, correction. The 161. Couldn't read the writing. It's poor writing. An 11. A 161. Another 74. another illegible chip, a 194, and last but not least, one of the original ROMs. So those are all the chips I've had to replace on computer. Hardware hacker, this keyboard goes to computer, which is the nickname I affectionately gave my Apple II Plus clone made by MCA of Japan, because this is the banner that computer has. Sometimes the best nicknames are the simplest. We simply have computer. Jesse says, bad chips, bad. So yes, that's the keyboard that goes to this computer, and I've been trying to track down a keyboard fault, and it was one of the 74 LS74s on the motherboard that passed 2 different chip testers. But it didn't pass the actual use case, so yeah, we've replaced it. Thomas Armstrong's asking, how many chips are on computer? I want to say somewhere around 88. I think it's the same numbers on an actual Apple II Plus. Let's count. I'm not going to count the encoder on the keyboard, because technically that is the keyboard's chips, not computer's chips. But all right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86 little ICs. Sorcerer Stan says, I think that chip passed my chip testers too. Yeah, that might have been one of the chips you sent me, but I'm not sure. So, yeah, it might have fooled 3 chip testers. Hardware Hacker says thunderclap. I mean, at least I didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because that would be very hard to continue to the end. All right. Hardware Hacker, 12 chips. All right, so, yep, actual count's 86. I guessed 88. It was a pretty good guess. And there we go. We have computer. It looks like computer's working. It looks like I will be able to put computer back together. I don't have to steal chips from my other clone board. But there are a few things I would still like to do. So I'm going to go set computer off to the side, because I need the power for my Aptiva here. So I'm gonna go set computer in its holding spot, and I'll go ahead and let I think I've got the PS2 keyboard plugged in still. Oh, I do have the PS2 keyboard plugged in still. However, the PS2 keyboard has stuff setting on it, so let me remove that real quick. I need to copy the binary file off of it, because we're going to take a little look at the code running in that microcontroller to I've been curious how it works. Let me see here. Also, I follow a YouTube channel. He's always disassembling software in Gedra. And I want to see what all the fuss is about, because apparently Gedra supports the MCS 48 series of chips. So, not sure why the NSA would be interested in disassembling microcontroller code, but well, maybe that's to look for unknown threats. I don't know. So, I'm curious what the code looks like. So, I guess for those of you that aren't familiar with the tool, apparently Gedra was an NSA tool for disassembling code that got leaked as part of some hacker dump or whatever it was called. But the NSA finally at some point they open sourced it, and so now there's an NSA GitHub, and you can download Gedra, and like, okay, let's see what this does. Hi, Joe. Welcome. Joe says, I've been told you just need to listen to Joe next time. Well, Joe, I think that 74LS74 fooled us, because it tested fine in the chip tester, and we thought it was the microcontroller. So, it's cool that I have a microcontroller reader. Yeah, it was the chip. I know. But, Joe, I've replaced that chip once or twice. This might be the third time I've replaced that particular chip. I know they test at low speeds. Why can't someone design a chip tester that tests at high speeds? Yeah, Mr. Tech Ed just says NSA doesn't only look for bad, they make their own exploits to use on enemies. Yes. Although Gedra is a disassembler, not an assembler, so they were probably using it to see what other adversaries were up to. But we're going to take advantage of their tool, and because actually I can't think of a better tool for disassembling microcontroller code, because when I searched for MCS 48 disassembler, I think that was about the only thing I found other than some Linux command line utility. Jack says, I'm amused by the warning on the Gedra GitHub page about the known security vulnerabilities in some versions. Yeah, I do find that kind of humorous too, but I guess at least good on them for, like, at least warning you. I mean, I guess there's something to be said for taking the posture of, it's open source, so we know we can't really keep you from trying to use this vulnerable version, so at least we're going to just warn you about it with big letters. Alright, so what I am doing the very boring thing. Yeah. Mr. Tech Ed just says, why would the NSA be interested in old microcontrollers? Stuxnet! Yeah, alright, so this is the binary file we read off that microcontroller, and I am using the latest in SneakerNet technology. Hi, Mike! Welcome to early Thursday. So it was about 8:30, Gutbomb says, hey Justin, are you really streaming tonight? And since I was about to head down to the basement, I missed the memo on a Thursday stream too. But since I was about to head down to the basement anyway, I was like, oh, well, if I've got it scheduled, people are going to be waiting, so why not? So yeah, using the latest in sneakernet technology, floppy disk, I'm copying the binary file to my modern computer because Gedra is a Java program, so it's not going to be running very well on the IBM Aptiva. I love the Inside My Computer theme, so... Alright. So let's see here. I think it did... Oh, I'm going to have to install... I bet I need to install Java here real quick. Alright, hold please. Java 21 runtime. Alright. Windows x64. There we go. Alright, I gotta install Java here real quick. I think that's the only thing I need to install because I'm not going to be using the debugger. So... The reason I'm not sharing anything is because I'm just installing software. And I'm waiting for the security pop-up. Thank you, Windows. It's going to take you less time to copy the files than it was to check the checksum of the installer. Thank you very much. Alright, so now I have Java. Now, will it run? Ah, there we go. That looks good. Ooh, I have to say, I like the, I like the logo. Is there an about screen? Oh, there we go. Alright, so let me go to my screen share here. So, yeah, there we go. That is the logo for Gedra. That is pretty epic. I guess since I have some Welsh... I am of partial Welsh descent, I do have somewhat of a liking for dragons. And that would include the Dragon 32 and Dragon 64, but those are unobtainium, so I'll just have to do with pictures of dragons. Jack says, lol, Java, speaking of security vulnerabilities. Alright, we'll see you shortly, Mike. Alright, so let's see if I can figure out how to run this. I'm probably going to have to change which screen I'm sharing. Alright, so file, new project, non-shared, project directory. Oh, let me actually, let's see here. Let me just create this in there, and we'll create a new folder. We're going to call it computer. That way I don't forget. All right, select project directory and project name, computer keyboard. And I can't type. All right, finish. There we go. All right, so I am just winging this as I go. So project. Import file. My computer. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that would probably help if I'd plug in the floppy drive, don't you think? And not drop it on the ground. It didn't hit the ground, it just hit the shelf. Oh, hold on. All right. Okay, we should have. All right, should. Hold, please, while I see why in the world we don't have. Oh, there we go. A drive. Oh, okay. Import file. All right, I'm importing the file. The disk media is not. All right. Hold, please, while I copy that from. Manually copy that from the floppy disk. Hold, please. I need to try recopying the file because apparently it this computer is complaining that the disk is not formatted. Despite the fact that Windows 98 happily wrote the file to the floppy drive. Let me actually format this disk on my streaming computer with its floppy drive, and then I'll copy the file again. Or my USB floppy drive is failing because it. All right, hold please. Let's use Windows 98 to format the disk then. Yes, this is the exciting part where we get to wait for me to find a disk that actually works. Because this is Windows 98. I don't think it has. I don't think Windows 98 has USB mass storage drivers, or does it? Well, even if it does, I don't think it's going to like my 32 gigabyte thumb drives. Oh, I think this floppy disk might be bad. Jesse says 98 doesn't. Okay. Oh, no, it was probably just saving unformat information. Jesse says that started with Windows 2000. Well, the binary file's on my 98 computer, and I don't have a SMB1 share that I can just copy it to. Yeah, I'd have to install software to make it useful. I've done it, but I don't really want to go hunt that down right now. I could almost look to see if I have a CD burner and CD burner software on this computer before I'd go hunt down that USB software. Because the thing is, the thumb drive would be 32 gigabytes. There's problem number two. I'd have to probably find a smaller thumb drive. Oh, well, this is a Windows 98 computer, and the only reason I'm using Windows 98 is because that's what the software that came with the programmer needs. It needs an older version of Windows because it's a parallel port based programmer. So Windows it was. I mean, I think there might be a Linux program, but that would have required me to actually go install Linux on a computer. Whereas I just pulled a Windows 98 computer off the shelf and done. Because it had a working install in 98. Oh yeah, you probably didn't see my programmer because I didn't actually need to pull it out. But yeah, I got one of those Willem programmers. So it uses a Windows program, or it comes with a Windows program. Jesse says, "I'm surprised this doesn't work with XP." I believe it does work with XP. There's probably a second question you would probably be asking. Do I not have Windows XP just simply installed on a computer? And the answer would be no. Oh, this floppy disk has 184K of bad sectors on it. Lovely. So it would appear as if my computer was having trouble reading the disk, probably because Windows 98 happily wrote the file to a bad sector. All right. Now that the disk is freshly formatted, let's see if I can copy. Because the problem wasn't reading the. So it was able to read the directory, but where it ran into trouble was when I then tried to. There we go. I got the file on here now. All right, so file, import. Let me try to import this file. And we are waiting for the directory to load. I copied it to my hard drive, but maybe I should have just left it on the floppy disk. Because there was only 2 files on the floppy disk. Format. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Yep, that's a raw binary. Language is going to be... Oh, this is cool. So it's asking me to tell it what platform it is, and 8048 microcontroller family. It's a raw binary, and there we go. It imported it. And there we go. So now if I open it, do I right click? Do I just open it? Oh. All right. Oh, sure, you can analyze the file. It's analyzing the file. Wonderful. I don't know what that does. Go ahead. Oh, that's cool. So there we go. Now let me see if I can make this maybe bigger. Edit. I don't know where the settings are. I think it just... Oh, it looks like it turned the microcontroller code into C code. That's cool. I'm trying to see if I can make the text bigger. Somehow I suspect that wasn't a program requirement. Hold on, this is the first time I've used this tool. Oh, there, tool options. Editors. No, well, that's interesting. I don't see anything about characters or fonts. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Well, that's a little better. That's better. There we go. This is the this is what it disassembled from the microcontroller code. This is kind of neat. All right, so it's kind of tried to disassemble it. I'm not exactly sure what it's doing, but it looks like it's moves 0 into R3, FF into R6, and 28 into R0, and does a no-op. Time IRQ. Oh, this must be the code that scans the... I bet this is the code that scans the keyboard matrix. Probably on a timed interrupt. Wow, there's a lot of, you know, it's a 1K ROM in that microcontroller, and this is a lot of code. All right, this is the data down here. Oh, it's totally getting some of the. Yeah, it's having trouble with decoding some of these data segments because there's a bunch of macros in this controller. And then I suspect here's the keyboard matrix. I don't know the assembly for this microcontroller, so I'm going to probably brush up on it and come back to what it does. Hmm. I am curious though. But hold on. Let's go back to tool settings, tool options. Font 20 bold. There we go. Thomas Armstrong says I would guess simplified 8080 code. Yeah, it probably is. There's a lot of the operands are 1 byte and take 1 cycle to run. Some of them are 2 byte, and some instructions take 2 cycles to run. But it's a very efficient microcontroller. I don't know 8080 assembly, so I'll have to kind of read up on it. But this is actually cool. The tool actually wrote C code from the assembly. Granted, it's making variable names up and whatnot, but huh, that's pretty cool. I was really kind of hoping to figure out how to get to the macro stuff, but I may have to look into this tool some more. Anyways, if I come to any conclusions on what the microcontroller does, then well, I'll uh, I'll publish it somewhere. Because the thing is, I don't have the manual for the computer, if there was one, so I don't know how to use the macros that are built into the keyboard. Because somehow you put the keyboard in macro mode, and then you can just press a key, and it will type the. There's a basic commands on the sides of the keys, and it will type the basic command for you. But I don't know. I don't know how it you. I don't know which key's the macro key. That's the problem. Thomas says, "Oh, it's apparently closer to the 4004." That wouldn't surprise me. So Oh, undefined fun code. Yeah, that's nice. Mega says it's really cool how the keyboard controller is really just another computer inside the computer. Yeah, it basically is. Because the microcontroller has 1K of ROM and like 64 bytes of RAM. And I don't know if. I mean, it kind of looks like it might have registers. But the registers could just be some of those bytes in RAM. Oh, Thomas says, and a PIA. Anyways, yeah, I am very tempted to maybe try to go through this, and I guess having a first pass assembly from a tool is certainly helpful. Because it does look like this might be the. I have to look, but maybe the microcontroller starts with address 0 as its reset vector. So it kind of looks like it might be initializing some registers. I suspect no ops are either possibly because they're using no ops for like rudimentary timing control. Since a no op is going to take, I think, one instruction. I think I do remember that from the data sheet. I think no op is a one cycle instruction. So that would basically burn one cycle. And if I remember from the data sheet, I think the cycles are like 5 clocks. Because I think the microcontroller has a state machine in it. Now, granted, I really quickly read it. So I think one cycle is basically five clocks. And I think it's probably running through its state machine. Mega says, I heard keyboard controllers were very much like the early Intel CPUs, but with their own ROM and RAM. Yeah, it's basically like a 1K ROM, 64-byte RAM microcontroller. And actually, the keyboard controllers are usually based on the 8042. And there is an 8742, which is an EEPROM variety. And I have been very tempted to try to use my newfound programmer to read out some old keyboard controllers and see if they're actually readable. Actually, let's open up the programmer software here and let's see if the. I'm curious. I'm curious if the 8742 is a supported chip here. Alright, so. Oh, there it is, 8742. So it does look like I could, some of the older keyboard controllers, they might actually be readable. Although maybe not. I did read somewhere that the at least the 8042, some of them may be program only. It looks like I could try. Anyways, I think it's time to get this Aptiva off the workbench. Oh, no, I was referring to PC keyboard controllers. PC keyboard controllers are usually based off the 8042, I believe. No, this I think the 8042 has some extra hardware in it that lends itself to being a keyboard controller. Yeah, this one was the computer uses an 8048, so unless I've completely confused myself. All right, so time to remove the Aptiva from the workbench. Of course, now that I seemingly have computer working, I need to clean the plastic parts of the case before I actually reassemble it, so because I need to get the old packing tape off of it. So that's why I'm not reassembling the computer right now, because it is like dark and potentially stormy outside. Which normally would give my ISP every excuse in the book to like start dropping frames, but I'm at 0 dropped frames right now, so color me impressed. Also, the cool thing is about this Aptiva, I have the restore CDs for it, so someday I'll have to reinstall the software. Anyways, for now, it's just a nice AMD K62 based system. I think it's like a 450 or a 470. It might be the 470. I kind of want to say for some reason this computer has a weird clock speed for the processor. I don't think it says on the back, but yeah, it has Thomas says they made a one-time programmable 8042. Yeah. The EEPROM version was the 8742. Yeah, this is a rather weird machine. In fact, I guess since I got it on the bench. We'll take a quick peek inside of it. Oh, no, maybe a 333 megahertz. The 470 might be something else. Oh, I may have had a 470 in my eBay watch list. So I believe this computer is one Bill Lewis rescued. And then he gave it to Chris to rehome, and Chris... Well, I think I made the comment, well, if no one else wants it, I'll take it. And interestingly enough, the group that he had shared the list of stuff with, well, apparently not a big IBM fan base, because no one else claimed it, so I was the lucky recipient of this IBM Aptiva running Windows 98. And I guess the nice thing is, it has Windows 98 installed, although I think it may have some personal data on it. I am going to have to go through and kind of check that out. But anyways, it actually, I guess in terms of cable management that didn't really exist at this time, it's not that bad. I mean, there's plenty of empty space in here for airflow. Anyways, this is the Aptiva. I don't know what the model number is. So I think it has a CD-ROM drive. Yep, it's just a CD-ROM drive and a floppy drive. And it's got a replacement hard drive in it. Yeah, this is the weird part of it. It has a single PCI slot and 2 ISA slots. And this is the modem. The original modem. it has on board ATI graphics, I believe. I think it's the Rage Pro Turbo AGP. So there's no AGP slot, but it does have AGP graphics. Because this is actually the ALI Super 7 chipset. So this is the ALI M1541 chipset that supports 100 megahertz frontside bus. Yeah, it's not very expandable. But at least, yeah, the onboard is AGP. That is at least a good thing. And it's a 333 megahertz AMD K6-2, I believe, which may actually be running at a 95 megahertz bus speed. Like 95 times 3.5, maybe? Does that make sense? I'd have to look it up. Maybe that's maybe that's where I was thinking there was something weird about the processor. It might be 95 megahertz times 3.5. And it looks like whoever owned the system did add some upgrade RAM, because I think it shipped with probably 32 megabytes, and I think they added a 128 megabyte stick to it. Mega's asking, can we still count it as Super 7 at 95 megahertz? It depends on what definition you go by. Normally, I wouldn't call this a Super 7 board because there's no AGP slot. Because I think AGP is what I really say seals the deal for it being a Super 7 motherboard. I'm okay with the fact that if the processor's not 100 megahertz, but the chipset can do it, then, and it has AGP, then I say it's Super 7. I'm giving this computer a pass because at least its onboard graphics is AGP. And at least they did equip it with the processor that's running at a faster frontside bus than like 83 megahertz. No, it's an ALI chipset. Yeah, it doesn't require a slot. Anyways, it's a nice little computer. And it works with the programming software because luckily, it's an old enough computer. It's got parallel. It's got a serial port. It does have USB. And obviously it's got a onboard sound. It's like Crystal CS4235 sound, which I believe is DOS compatible. It's a decent... Oh yeah, the other neat fact is Acer made the motherboard for IBM. Because actually, if you look at the copyright sticker on the BIOS, it says copyright Acer Incorporated. Yeah, Mega says, I like it. As a kid, I was plagued with onboard video forever. Hey, it's in good shape, and I've always liked the little blue embellishments IBM put on their cases. And it's got the door to kind of hide away your extra drives. So, yeah, it does have drive bays, although I think the hard drive's in this bay. Because it originally shipped with a Bigfoot hard drive. Which was, I think, starting to fail or something. So Chris imaged the drive onto another hard drive. But given the fact that there's no dedicated hard drive bay in this computer, that would be my only probably major complaint, is that they didn't put a internal drive bay here for the hard drive. Jesse says, in search of Bigfoot. Well, Bigfoot's not in this computer. I think Chris may still have the Bigfoot drive. Even though it was starting to fail, I think the drive may still be at least last time I asked him about it, it might have been somewhat functional. Although maybe it did finally give up the ghost. But Chris swapped out the unreliable Bigfoot drive with a replacement drive, and I think he used an imaging tool to just copy the entire hard drive image over. So, anyways, yeah, it's a nice little computer, and the really cool thing about it is, I mean, it's in good shape, it's clean. Whoever had this, I think, stored it in a fairly... I mean, it's a little dusty inside, so I think it might have been used in a home. Because sometimes office computers are, like, even cleaner inside, because they have cleaning crews that come through, in some cases, daily. So I think this one may have been used in a home, because it's a little dusty. But whoever had it, I mean, the plastics don't look that yellowed at all. None of the plastics are broken, knock on wood. And at, not this past swap meet, but the one before it, up at System Source, I actually bought the matching IBM monitor for like $5. By the time I saw it, well, I think I saw it, but then when I really went to go look at it, the seller had marked it down to $15, and I think I had a $5 bill in my pocket. And I offered them $5, and he took it because he didn't want to take it home. But it is, I think it's the matching monitor that IBM would have sold with this computer. It's like a 14-inch monitor. Nothing special, but it does have the matching blue embellishments. So I don't normally have to have the matching monitor for every computer, but when you can pick up a CRT monitor for $5 and it at least is in cosmetically good shape. So sometime I'll have to set this up as a whole computer, and I don't have the keyboard and mouse for it, but that's okay. I may have to do a video exploring this, but this may also become my programmer PC, because, I mean, it's peppy enough that Windows boots fairly fast. And it still has the legacy ports on it. And I could probably put Windows 2000 on it if I wanted to load something slightly newer with USB support. So this is one of my picks for the computer to set up for doing programming with old EEPROM programmers. Just because it's not super fast, but it's not super slow. And it's in good shape. It's got enough RAM for Windows 98. But then again, I've got another motherboard I may use for Windows 2000, and it's actually a dual processor motherboard. Actually, it might run pretty nice with Windows XP, because it's, I think, a dual Pentium 3. That might actually run pretty nice with Windows XP. I mean, calibrating expectations, it would probably run decently well with XP. I think this programming software for the programmer, I want to say someone figured out how to get it to run with XP. So even if whoever made this CD image, this absolutely, totally legit CD image, even if they didn't do the patch for XP, I probably can. In fact, actually, I think the patch might work with Windows 7. No, I think it's for XP 64-bit. Anyways, I could probably run it on something slightly newer, but you get to a point, though, where I think you start to lose real good compatibility with parallel ports, because I think that programmer needs a true parallel port because of the way it works. I don't think it's going to work with a USB parallel port. I think it needs an actual true hardware parallel port. And so at some point, you're just going to get to the point where the platform that could run the version of Windows doesn't support a hardware parallel port. Now, I'm going to go put this computer back on the shelf where I got it from while I play this important announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Dustin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
And you thought I had to do Wheel of Regrets at the beginning of a live stream. Ah! Well, this first eBay potential regret comes to us from an eBay seller in Ohio. So, Ohio, to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Ohio. Yeah, I bet that woke some of you all up. Yeah, Thomas says it does need a real IRQ. Thomas Armstrong says, it's a secret towel. Yeah, that's my 80s towel. Well, late 70s, early 80s. I'm not sure exactly when the towel was made. I was at a thrift store. Mom was there as well. I found the towel. I thought it looked pretty cool. I asked her if she thought it was like 80s, and she was like, yeah, probably. She's like, yeah, if it's not early 80s, it's late 70s. And I was like, okay, close enough. So, anyways. So, this might be one of my silliest acquisitions. Packing peanuts. Ah, there we go. I bought packing peanuts on eBay. Oh no, and Gut Bomb's not here. This could be a disaster. Alright. Okay, I really do wish there was a bit more packing on this, but... Alright, let me make sure I set it on the table right side up. Because I opened the box upside down. Alright. Thomas Armstrong says, and the warranty on packing peanuts is so bad. Yeah. Oh, Gut Bomb, if you're lurking. I don't know if anyone wants to guess what this might be. I mean, it is maybe Commodore sized. Hardware hackers guess. Lol, a monitor? I mean, it could be a very flat monitor. I mean, they do have flat panels. Picture frame. Oh, Thomas. You're not even letting someone guess Trident cards. I guess Francois went to bed. Yeah. I went and bought me a whole... Mega says a toaster. I bought an Atari 1040 ST. Yeah, the keyboard seems to be in good shape. Ah! There's a sticker over one of the screws. I wonder if there's any upgrades in here. Thomas Armstrong's asking, what model 1040? It is a 1040 STF. It does not have an RF modulator, so I guess it is an STF. Has the floppy drive, it has the keyboard, It has a 1 whole megabyte of RAM built in. And where did I put... I need to get a VGA adapter for the Atari ST. Because if I want to power this up, I'm going to have to drag the monitor over here. But yeah, there we go. It almost warrants its own live stream, like maybe Thursday. Maybe we'll look at the Atari ST on Thursday. Or maybe I'll realize it's 10:30 and we could Thomas Armstrong says, so it has a 360K floppy drive. Yeah, I guess it does. I'm not an Atari ST expert, but I do have, I mean, it's got an external floppy drive port. Mike says, you need a 15 kilohertz frequency monitor like the Apple II GS. Oh, I have an Atari ST monitor. Thomas Armstrong says, that's okay with the mega file. Yeah, so I've got the mega file where I bought the Atari 520 ST. And, Mike, you can use a VGA adapter as long as you have a 15 kilohertz monitor. I think I have a monitor that supposedly does 15 kilohertz. In fact, actually, I think the Extron scaler can do 15 kilohertz. I have an Extron scaler because people use that to connect to a 2GS. I think I've got LCD monitors that do 15 kilohertz, or supposedly. Yeah. The thing about why I need the VGA cable is because I cannot. It pains me to point cameras at monitors, and then people complain about flickering. Thomas says lots of the LED TV sets can do it. If I can get it into OBS, then I can show you a direct capture, and no one complains about flickering. They complain about other things, like thermal paste, and that's a modern technology, not a CRT, and things like that. But at least I can deal with that. Flickering, you get people that can actually be affected by flickering, so that's where I like to try to do direct capture to eliminate flicker risk. Jesse says, some VGA screens can handle 15 kilohertz. There's one at work, but I can't take it home. I might have a... Actually, I think my NEC multisync might be able to do 15 kilohertz. Although it may be too new for that. Alright, if I can remember where I put the monitor, I guess we can at least see if this powers up. I don't have my mouse adapter yet. I'm hoping that arrives this week. Thomas, it's a multi-sync LCD monitor. So it may be too new for 15 kilohertz. Jesse says there's a database, there's a website that has a database of them. Yeah. Unfortunately, the Atari 1040 ST takes up more bench space than the 520. I guess I should have figured, because... Well, I knew they had to somehow get the extra space. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to have to... Okay. I'm going to have to Okay, here's what I'm going to do. This is going to be slightly precarious. I'm going to put the monitor on my bench. Like so. And then I'm going to put the Atari... Oh, okay, this might work. I'll put the Atari ST on top of it. And I'm going to find the power cord. I got the Atari ST turned off. Alright, I'm going to turn on the monitor. And now, I'm going to turn on the Atari ST. After I get Droid Cam up and running. Alright. There we go. 3, 2, 1.5, focus, 1, and 0. And, that made a really weird noise. Yeah, I think I might have just let the Rifa magic smoke out. Oh, yeah. Yep, there is definitely some... Ugh. Alright, well, I can't blame you all because I'm the one that went full send on that. Alright, well, let's, Ugh. Alright, new coffee goal will be for an air freshener. A, anti-Rifa capacitor smoke air freshener. Something that's 180 degrees from Rifa smoke. That would be, I guess that would be like a grandma's apple pie air freshener. Actually, even better, that would be grandma's apple pie. There we go. Not go for no fake air freshener. I just want... Well, I'll have to settle for mom's apple pie, but you get the idea. All right. Note to self: Atari STs have Rifa caps in them. All right. Well, I guess since we are in Wheel of Regrets, and it smells like... Yeah, it smells like I let something out. Let's just go ahead and open this up and confirm what the carnage was. So much for me using Thursday's live stream to do this. I guess we're doing it now. Well, maybe Thursday we'll just have to visit Gateway Country instead. Oh, thank you, hardware hacker. We got a $10 super chat towards my air freshener. Eep. All right. Yeah, I'll need that. Thomas Armstrong says, ST can be fun to take apart. It was built in the bad cap age. Well, hopefully... Well, I'll just blame Jack Trammell. If I can get that screw out. The void sticker. Well, oh. Do you have to remove the floppy drive screws? Oh, no. It's just you got to navigate the clip. All right. All right. And then, Thomas says the PSU is a Japanese off the shelf. Well, lots of bendy. I am blaming Jack Trammell. Engineering probably wanted to use a few screws. I am smelling. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, we've got something fresh here. Oh, yeah. All right, don't mess with power supplies if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, oh yeah, we got, I don't see a Refa cap, but I see electrolyte. And I have a feeling what I smelled was fishy electrolyte, just kind of, Thomas is asking, did a cap vent? I think I'm going to have to say yes. I think a cap vented. But I think it vented out of the bottom. Because there appears to be a lot of wet electrolyte. Oh no, this is a Skynet power supply. I may just have to return this to the eBay seller and let them know that we can't have Skynet. Thomas says you can remove the PSU without taking the machine apart. Well, it looks like they soldered the power supply leads onto it. Oh, I don't have caps on hand. I'm going to have to... I'll have to order a cap kit and... We'll have to look at it another day. All right. Well, if there's any mysteries in here, we'll have to like. Uh, oh, hi, Jean-Francois. We're in Wheel of Regrets. We looked at computer first, and then we went to Wheel of Regrets. And yeah, this is an Atari 1040 STF for floppy drive. And right now, the F could also stand for fail because it made a really weird noise, and um, then I smelled magic smoke. So I'm just taking the power supply out carefully so I can maybe get a better look at it. Yeah, I think C7 or C9 vented from the bottom. None of them look domed. But yeah, there's definitely electrolyte on the board. That also, those capacitors are about where that is on the top of the case, which does look wet. So I'm thinking they vented from the bottom and it kind of splashed upwards. So yeah, let me. I don't think I'm gonna be able to move this to where I can. Oh wait, maybe I can. So there's the carnage. I think it's one of those two caps is leaking. Anyways, I'll. Oh, I may have to order a fuse too. I think the fuse might be blown. I can't tell. Oh, yep, fuse is blown. Thomas Armstrong says, "Oh, that's okay." No, it's not okay. It's disgusting. It smells like a fish market with smoke, but electronic smoke. I don't. I don't get what this exhaust store is. Oh, they sell cap kits. Does Console 5 not sell cap kits? I'd rather not wait for a cap kit to come in from the UK because that will take a long time. Power supplies. Power supply. Aztec, DVE. FPK, Mitsumi, Hong, Skynet, ATR 1886. Is that it? Skynet. Oh, this power supply was made in the US. ATR 1886. Yeah, Console 5 has a cap kit. Alright, let me see. They're warning. Up. Okay, Console 5's on vacation, so if I order it now, it's not going to ship till next week. Alright, well, I guess let's go ahead and I'm wondering if I can get the RF shield off easily enough to figure out what version motherboard it has, and then I can order a cap kit for it too. That way I can also confirm that there's... Oh. Yeah, Thomas Armstrong says his regular site has all the PSU models. Alright, well, Console 5 has cap kits as well, so... They are on vacation now. So they won't ship till Monday, I believe it is, but... It's the Skynet ATR 1886. Hence the reason why I made the sarcastic comment. I think I may have to send it back to the eBay seller and tell them we can't have Skynet. The Skynet we have at home. Yeah, at the moment, considering all it can do is just leak its guts out, well, it's probably not going to be doing much of anything. Alright. There's a method to my madness. I just want to inspect the logic board or motherboard. Mike says he bought out all the Atari warehouses. He has almost any part. Well, I mean, that's good that he has the parts, but Mike says you might also want to try bestelectronics.com. Oh, that might be the person Mike's talking about. Oh, hi, Dave. Welcome. Dave says my Xfinity internet is down. Well, mine's behaving tonight. It's behaving even better than it was last... Oh. Well, actually, okay, it's starting to misbehave. That's weird. I just had a whole bunch of dropped frames just now. Thomas says just order from Mauser. Well, I could order from Mauser, but I've already placed a Mauser order. So that would require me to place another Mauser order. Although maybe I should place another Mauser order because I seemingly have misplaced one of my Mauser orders. And I'm not exactly sure where I put the contents of the order because I checked everything. Like, normally I'll put an order near the computer or computers that the order's for, or the project that it's for. But I didn't set this one order I'm looking for near any of the items that the order was for. But yet I remember receiving it, so... Of course, that tells me one thing. It might still be setting upstairs, and I haven't brought it downstairs yet. That might be why I can't find it. I should probably take a brief look upstairs. There is a spot where I stick things that need to come downstairs, and maybe that's where that order is, and that's why I can't find it. It's because maybe that order is still upstairs, waiting to come downstairs. Alright, I think I have untwisted all the twisty tabs. Thomas says, where's Radio Shack when you need it? Yeah, I know. Oh, I guess you have to remove the floppy drive to get the shield off. Alright, well. Only Radio Shack could have differentiated themselves, like, for example, Micro Center. Could have made themselves the one-stop shop for your STEM education needs. That would have been pretty cool. And, I mean, maybe they had too many stores for that, but that would at least been better than, oh, yeah, we see that cell phone stores are popular, so we're going to become your one-stop shop for cell phones, despite the fact that there's, like, all sorts of other one-stop shops for cell phones. Well, I mean, yeah, I'll order caps at some point, but the thing is, even if I order caps, even if I stopped what I'm doing right now and ordered caps right now, they're not going to arrive by Thursday. There is nowhere that I can order them from where they will arrive by Thursday because I am not paying for next day shipping. So, I mean, yeah, I'll order them tomorrow. I mean, even if I order them tomorrow, they're not arriving Thursday. Because overnight shipping is like $25 at Mauser, and the caps are probably going to be like 10, if that. All right. All right. Twist tab shields are better than soldered shields. Do you have to remove the power supply bracket? Oh, I bet I gotta remove that. Hold, please. Here I am trying to make sure I can get this thing back together. No, I don't have a bin of leftover capacitors. Well, I'm saying 10 for the capacitors because shipping at Mauser is going to cost me $8. Although Thomas's the shield goes under the ports. Why did Atari just so I got to remove the whole probably means there's another screw I haven't. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it looks like I got it. All right. I'm probably never going to get this thing back together. Okay, so we have a Rev C. Oh, there we go. At least the power supply came out. Well, you have to remember, Thomas, it is like 11:10 right now. I was hoping this would be simpler so I could get it back together tonight. So then when I take it back apart to recap it, I will then know how to put it back together again. Because there are multiple types of screws, and now I've gotten all the screws mixed up, so wonder why I have so many projects that aren't together. It's partially because I have to sometimes go review live streams to remember how to put something back together again, and that takes time. All right, so it's a Rev C motherboard, and I mean, it looks like everything's in good shape. I don't think any of the capacitors on the motherboard are leaking, but well, I know there's guides online. I'm not an Atari expert, and I I am getting tired of having a bag of screws for every project I'm working on. It's getting irritating. That's of course, I guess the cap deciding to spill its guts sent me down a rabbit hole I was not really expecting to go down tonight. But there's our megabyte of RAM and chips, and there's our processor, and Callan says soon will be. Oh, this must be the. Oh, that's the. Oh, that's the video chip. Okay, we'll just leave that alone. All right, we'll leave that alone for now. All right. I'm not. I just not familiar with. I I, I don't know what the spec. Check out the specs. I Is that a math coprocessor socket there? I don't see this revision listed exactly as it is on the motherboard. Uh, I Okay. So you sent me a link to the forums. It took me to a the topics, which it looks like they're the list of the motherboard revisions, and the one for this motherboard is just a bunch of pictures of people like commenting things about the board. I don't know. Are you trying to point me to look up something specific? Yeah, version C1. There's there's not anything on this thread that I would call earth shattering. It's all right. Where's the all right? Why you know work key? There we go. I mean, there's I didn't see any schematics on the thread. There's nothing of this is everything there is on that revision. I don't see a link to schematics. I see a comment that someone says it's missing a blitter. A picture of the two ROMs. I don't. Yeah, unfortunately, I there's unless there's something I'm missing about the way this forum works. Is it, Thomas Armstrong says, "Oh no, they are English. The site is very disorganized." that's things that make me not want to use a forum. Thomas says, it's cool, it's blitter ready. Well, it's all well and good that it's blitter ready, but I don't have a blitter and I don't have a socket. Because I don't know if anyone can tell. You probably can't tell from that photo. Because it's kind of zoomed out. And I only knew about this because of Adrian's Digital Basement, but Atari used a different socket style where the pins are staggered. And they don't make those staggered sockets anymore, and I don't have any. So step one, Thomas says they still make the socket. Then why did Adrian Black say in his video that they don't make the socket? Someone had to send him the socket. Of course, I'll disclaim, maybe Adrian Black's also not really an Atari ST expert. But I sure thought in his video he made a comment that made it sound like they weren't available. Thomas says they still make the socket. Okay, well, then problem number 2 is the blitter. All right, I guess I'll have to look into the socket because I thought they didn't. I didn't think they made this style socket anymore. I thought all the PLCC sockets made nowadays were not staggered pin. I guess that does answer my question of, is that a math coprocessor socket? Because the answer is no. Although it has the correct number of pins, the answer is no. That is not. It's a blitter socket. Why did Atari not include the blitter with the computer? That seems like an important function. I don't know. I'm probably getting tired. Thomas says the blitters aren't that common. Well, then I probably won't be getting a blitter for it then. I'll just have to go blitterless. Although, I guess if someone out there wants to donate a blitter to the channel, then by all means. Oh, Thomas says the chip wasn't ready at the time. Well, they should have made a mail-in rebate thing. I don't know. Probably very un-Jack Tramiel-like to do something like that. Alright, so I guess I now know that I gotta fix the power supply. At least I know what revision motherboard it is. I don't know that the motherboard needs recapped, but $707890001. Oh, that's $26 to recap the motherboard. That's lovely. Oh, Thomas says some of the machines did have a socket for 68881. Oh, hi, Stian. Yeah. we're in Wheel of Regrets. I did computer first. So I guess for anyone joining, I found the problem with computer and fixed it, and then we went to Wheel of Regrets, and due to a cap venting, I disassembled the 1040 STF that I bought on eBay, and now I'm looking at all the screws that I've taken out, and I'm just about to put them in a bag, and I'll deal with reassembling this later because it's getting late. Because oh, and I'm gonna have to order a fuse. What size fuse is this? Yeah, Hardware Hacker says Justin did Wheel of Regrets and already regrets doing that. Yeah, should have just waited till Thursday. Then at least I would be completely oblivious for 2 more days about the condition of this power supply. It's a 2 amp. A 2 amp fuse. Okay. All right. Yes, let me. All right, because the power supply needs recapped, and I'll probably want to test it disassembled. In case anything further goes wrong. Anyways, yeah, apparently these power supplies were made during the bad caps era, and there's the carnage. So one of those caps, I think it's one of these 2 caps vented, so, but it must have done it out the bottom, because neither of them are, neither of them look like they're venting out the top. Also, those are United Chemicon caps, so I was about to accuse them of using cheap caps, but actually, yeah, they're all United Chemicon caps, so I guess it's just their old caps, because, okay, I'll at least give Skynet, or whoever made this power supply, that. They're all brand name caps. So, yeah, there's that, but they're old caps. All right. Let me continue to kind of collect this up, because there's one more thing. I didn't get to it. I was going to open it last Thursday, but I had bandwidth problems. And I didn't get to it last night because I spent too long on that PC motherboard. Which I guess if anyone's curious about, I think I'm going to keep it, even though it's not reliably posting. Because I think I've convinced myself it needs recapped. And I did only spend $40 for it, and while I think that might be, if the only thing I get from it is a processor, that's probably would be a really expensive Athlon 64X2. Well, and I guess the heatsink's fine, so I guess I would also have a heatsink. Because if recapping it doesn't fix the reliability problem, then yeah, there's probably really nothing else I can do, because it's probably the chipset has failed. If recapping it doesn't fix it. So, but it was only a $40 purchase, so I'm like, all right. I guess, given the fact that I do have a working CPU from it, so there is at least some value. Well, and given the fact it was sold as is, although the seller did put in the listing that they were told it worked, but sold as is. Kind of one of those. Oh well, points. I'm not sure I could return it anyways, even though the seller does say on their page that if you have any problems, let us know. And I did let them know that I had problems, but that may have not been an invitation of, yeah, we'll accept your return. It might have just been a, we'll try to manage your expectations before you leave feedback. And I mean, I don't think they misdescribed it. Except I am curious about one thing. If it was an estate sale, how do they know it was working? But that's beside the point. And of course, you could equally probably fault me for not saying, oh, they got it from an estate sale. How can I know that the person that told them that it was working knew that it was working? Except for the person that thought it was working, well, it could have been the famous, well, it was working the last time my relative told me it was working. Or whoever's running the estate sale. And I guess just for anyone that might be wondering, I don't know if in other countries the sales are called different things, but I guess in the US the difference between an estate sale versus like a yard sale or garage sale, the estate sale is going to be the next of kin are selling off the assets of a deceased family member. That's about that in the US we call them estate sales. They may be called something else in your area of the woods, which is kind of why maybe I should have known that. How would they know it's working? Because theoretically the person that would have last used it is no longer with us. But anyways, yeah, as Hardware Hacker put it, it was working once upon a time, yes. So I guess it could be on me for not, like, thinking twice about it. It was only $40, but yeah, I mean, I kind of realize that sometimes when us US-based YouTubers start talking about various things we have, I guess I should know that sometimes it helps. Some things are just universal, and maybe there's not another name elsewhere. But I know sometimes, though, when we're talking about like yard sales and garage sales, no, it's not someone selling their garage. It's someone selling things they no longer use, and the sale might be in their garage. Because I think like in the UK, something like that might be a boot sale. Although I think what they call a boot sale may be what we would call a swap meet or like a flea market. But Hardware Hacker says it gave you an excuse to extend your stream by an unknown amount of time. Yes. All right. Well, let me go set this 1040 ST off to the side so we can get the last Wheel of Regrets entry on the bench. I'm also going to move my second Apple II Plus clone board off to the side. All right. Don't worry, it's just a frog. He's hanging out by the light, probably eating bugs. I tried to ask him what his name was to see if he was Kermit, but he wasn't listening. All right. Yes. Oh. Yeah, Thomas says estate sales are final and no refunds. Yes. That is true. Hardware hacker, troubleshooting my Mac to see, prior to doing a video on it while I'm watching Justin's video of regrets. Yes. All right, we have one last Wheel of Regrets entry. Now, we opened the eBay box on Monday, so this one has no eBay tape on it, but this comes to us from an eBay seller in New Hampshire, which I presume means there's an Old Hampshire somewhere. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in New Hampshire, and I guess Old Hampshire, wherever that is. Or maybe it's just called Hampshire. Probably with things like that, the old one is probably in the UK, if I had to guess. Stian says there is Old Hampshires in the UK, and yes, it's just called Hampshire. Yeah. Thomas is guessing Trident cards. I wish I could say that I bought all the remaining Trident cards in existence so that there would be no more for me to buy on eBay. Just kind of get that bulk discount and be done with it. Harder Hacker says it's OG Hampshire. Yeah. It's in southeastern England. Interesting. New Hampshire's in northeastern New England. I guess being that these places were named in like the 15, 16, 1700s, I guess they just had to resort to adding the word new to it, because I guess if they'd been named in like the 2000s, they would have just removed the E preceding the last R in the name and gone with that as a name. Steven says trade you a Trident card for the 440BX. Yeah, Harder Hacker says, between Maine and Massachusetts and to the right of Vermont. Ian says, fun fact, New Hampshire's license plate contains the old Man of the Mountain, which isn't there anymore since an avalanche of a few years back. Oh, yeah. It's a bundle of bubble wrap. Yes, I bought a bundle of bubble wrap. Oh, there was a thank you card in the box. Oh, you can't see the corner there. All right, and I had to set some of it off to the side. Okay, so you know the meme where they have like the lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil, I guess then neutral and or lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful bad, and then there's like neutral and evil. I can't zoom out enough to show you that normally it seems like eBay sellers like methodically will wrap it one way a couple times and then wrap it the other way a couple times. Oh, chaotic. There we go. That's the one I was looking for. Chaotic. Lawful, neutral, and chaotic. This wrapping is unfortunately leaning towards the chaotic because it's almost like they just balled it together. But, Stia says that's some really impressive packing for thank you cards. But, yeah. Harder Hacker says, I've seen some crazy wrapping from eBay. Thomas Armstrong says, gamer lingo. Yeah. Honestly, I think they just kind of balled the bubble wrap together because I don't really see, or well, at least some of it's balled together. Harder Hacker says, I've seen more chaotic than that. All right, so maybe this is just neutral. Because actually the chaotic ones might include no packing material at all. Actually, I think chaotic good would probably be it's balled together, but at least they use bubble wrap. I think chaotic evil would be they yeeted it in a box and there's like absolutely no other packing because you didn't pay enough for them to care. I think this actually came FedEx, so I'm glad they packaged it somewhat well. And if you can't tell by now, it's not actually Trident cards. Remember, the clue I gave on yesterday, was Gateway Country. Ugh. And yes, it has the stand. The stand is just setting off to the side. But we have, and there is a reason why, we have a Gateway Profile 3. I get the 3 and the 4 mixed up. This is an all-in-one from Gateway that I actually have one, but it has a problem, so that's why I bought this one when I saw it. It was at a good price. But yeah, this is a Gateway all-in-one that is beige and gray. Note the speakers. Those are cow spot speakers. And yes, there is a CD-ROM drive. And yes, there is a floppy drive and PCMCIA. And Firewire, I believe. I believe those are, although they probably marketed it as iLink or IEEE 1394. But yeah, it looks like there's some Firewire ports peeking out there. RIP Firewire. But there we go. Oh, oop, oop, oop. I'll need my product key. Glorious 1x or 2x speeds, yeah. So there we go. We have a oh, I think that's where the stand attaches, or is that the shield on the RAM? I'm actually thinking that we should go ahead and power this on and make sure it survived shipping. Now, the one thing is, if you are in the market for one of these, they don't just take an AC power adapter. This one did not include the power adapter, at least I don't think it did. No, it did not. So let me go grab the power adapter for my other Profile 3. And we're going to power this up and hopefully it does. Hold one moment while I try to remember which stuff I put the Profile 3 on. Oh, yes it is. Here it is. So the reason why I was looking for another one of these is because I would like to do a video of all the list of items I would like to make videos on, of all the really interesting, some of the, or not all of the, but some of the interesting computers that came out between the beige era and the black/gray era, like dark gray or black. And this is one of those systems. Because it's not beige. Like, I believe the Profile 2 was beige. And I believe the Profile 4... Oh, it's powering up. I think the Profile 4 is actually black. Also, I've got some Dell Optiplexes that are equally like transition era. And they're gray and beige. They don't have cow spots, though. Alright, we are powering up. I hear the fan. I do not see anything on the LCD screen, though. Alright. Try power cycling. Ian says, contrast setting, dead backlight. Well, the eBay seller did show it working. Because the reason I bought a second one of these is because the screen of the one that I currently have has some big splotches on it where it got physically impacted. I do not see anything on the screen. All right. Well, at least the uh, I tried turning the brightness up. I am spamming the brightness button, and I don't see anything on the screen. Besides, the eBay seller showed it working. I was presuming that it should just work. I have been known to be wrong before when it comes to those things. All right, well, I guess I'm going to plug an external monitor in. Oh, wait, that's not a monitor port. Never mind. That's a serial port. I'm wondering if something came loose in shipping. The fan is spinning. Open it and take a look. I guess we can open it. Even though I have exceeded my desired allotment of opening. Oh, it's 10 till 12. I don't know how you open these things. Let me just take this shield off and make sure that there's not RAM under it. And that the RAM didn't come unseated, because that would be my first guess. Ah, there is RAM under there. There we go. PC 133. All right. Weird thing is, it's turning on as soon as I plug it in. I don't know if that's normal or not. No. No, there's not a disc in the CD. Thing is, nothing's appearing on the screen. I'm not hearing any beeps. I don't hear the hard drive spin up. I got an idea though. All right, what if I pull the RAM and power it up? Is it going to beep at me? No. Hi, socket wrench. Alright, I guess we're gonna have to, like, take this thing apart, probably. Because there's like... I am concerned about the fact that it's just turning on when you plug it in. Socket wrench says this looks like Lane's Navi if Lane were from Wisconsin. Oh, I think the button's missing from the floppy drive. That's interesting. I don't ever hear it try to seek the floppy drive. No, it's not a laptop style PC. It just doesn't have the stand attached. The stand's over to my right. It is, like, not... Oh, wait. When I unplugged it, I saw the backlight flicker. Yeah, that's the green power LED. You press the power button or you plug it in, it turns on. I hear fans, but I don't hear the hard drive. I never hear any beeps or any drive seeks, and the backlight never turns on unless you unplug it. Thomas says software controlled contrast. Well, the thing is, the eBay seller took photos of this with it powered on and the screen was visible. So theoretically, unless something came loose in shipping, oh, there's no hard drive in it. There's no hard drive in it. Okay, someone's removed the hard drive. Oh, that's right. They took pictures of it open. Oh, which means the seller's been in here. Oh, there very well could be something unplugged. Wait a minute. Oh, did I get auctions mixed up? Okay, I take back my words. I was watching a couple of these, and I thought the seller... I thought the seller had posted a picture of it working. But no. The seller posted a pictures of its insides. Which probably means that on Thursday, we may be paying a trip to Gateway Country, because it looks like hardware hackers asking, are you sure it was the same unit and not a picture from the internet? Thomas, pressing and holding power just turns it off. Am I sure it's not just a picture from the internet? The serial numbers match. And the Windows XP key matches. So, no, they are not simply pictures from the internet. Unless they then found the source of the computer that was on the internet and bought it from the person that took the pictures and posted it on the internet and then sold it to me. Yeah. Anyways, yep. I think I'm going to have to say that this is the unit that they pictured on the listing. I thought there was a picture of it working. I have a feeling that one sold before I could buy it. This one I bought because they made an offer. So actually, I don't know if it works. I'm hoping at the very least that the LCD is in better shape than the one in mine, and that at the very least I can do an LCD swap. So, although, I don't know, maybe I won't do an LCD swap. Maybe I may do a drive and, I may swap the drives from the other one, because I think that might be easier. Anyways, I bet something's been unplugged. I'm trying to get there's a little cover, and I thought it was a cover over a screw, but maybe it's not. All right, I guess, at the very least, maybe it is a lead up to Thursday, because we'll probably just look at this Thursday, because now I'm kind of somewhat bummed out that I bought a different one than I thought I was, but, well. All right, we will, even though I got to work tomorrow and it's midnight, let me take a few minutes. If it's just a simple matter of removing a few screws around the outside, then we'll pop the rear off and see if there's anything obvious. Because I think it... But yeah, the main thing is computer's happy. It was an a 74 LS74. One that I think I'd already replaced at least once or twice. I didn't realize there was one on my parts Apple II Plus board, or I probably would have just tried swapping it sooner. I may have to watch Ike's. Oh, well, there's one thing. The button for the PCM CIA cards was cattywampus. Alright. Let me see if I can get this cover off real quick. I think Well, I have the 6 screws out, and it's starting to separate. Oh, I have a feeling I'm going to have to watch a video or two on how to disassemble this, and we'll have to continue it Thursday. This is not separating like I thought it would. But at the moment, this is kind of ranking high on my regret list because I regret not realizing this wasn't the one I thought I was watching. Alright, I guess I'm going to have to watch a video on how to disassemble it, so don't be surprised if we return to Gateway Country on Thursday to try to get it open to try to figure out why the screen's not working, because either I'm going to have to get the screen working in this computer, or in this one, and then, like, transfer drives over from the other one so that I have a complete unit. Or I'm going to have to figure out how to get to the LCD in this one to take the LCD out and then swap the LCD screens. I have a feeling there's probably tabs holding the case closed. Possibly there's a hidden screw or two. And I'm just going to have to go. I think Ike's Vintage Tech did a video on this. So, yeah, don't be surprised if we're visiting Gateway Country on Thursday. So with that, because it's getting late and I do have to work, I'd like to thank everyone for joining me tonight. Glad we could get computer finally working. I'll have to clean the case up. I got to get the tape off of it, and then I'll start to put computer back together. I've read out the microcontroller on it, so I guess now, if anyone has one of those clone keyboards with a bad microcontroller, then maybe there might be a way to resurrect them. So, good night, Thomas. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was using one of my channel stickers to... Oh, that reminds me. The reason why there's a stack of these stickers here, I keep seeing Ron's computer videos, and he put a sticker on his Yeti mic. And, oh, I was going to do the same. I was going to put a sticker on, I was going to put a sticker on the side of my mic. Something like that. Anyways. Yeah, so I'm glad you all joined me. I'm glad we got computer working. Finally figured out the problem with the keyboard. It was a logic chip that was failing under load. Yeah, figure why not put it there. I just, I'll have to peel it when I'm not so late. Word of the wise, get the easy peel stickers. I did not, and I regret it. The stickers look great. But I'm hoping next time I reorder, maybe I can reorder that from stand out stickers, but tell them to please make them easy peel, and I'll pay the small extra charge for easy peel stickers. So, yeah, I guess I've ordered enough of those to now realize I should have gotten easy peel. But yeah, I was thinking of putting a little sticker on the side of my mic. So yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining, hanging out in the chat. Yeah, good night, Callan. Being awesome, putting up with me as I disassembled computers I wasn't planning to disassemble. And the fact that I think the computer saga is hopefully over. And I'm starting to shut things down here. And with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I hope to see you here Thursday, where I am still planning on streaming Thursday. So this was a bonus stream this week. Oh, and yeah, I'm dropping a few extra frames now. Yeah, I see the drop frame count went up by like 300 just now. So yeah, it looks like maybe now's a good time to stop before I lose my Xfinity service for the night. So with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you here next time. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live. And don't forget to like this video so the YouTube algorithm knows that you like content like this. And with that, have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.